Hello, welcome to this session as part of the Emarsys Retail Revival Digital Festival. My name is Andy Mulcahy and I'm the Strategy and Insight Director at IMRG. IMRG is the trade association for online retail in the UK. So we have a panel of about 200 retailers who give us their sales metrics and lots of other metrics. And we benchmark their performance and feed that back into the market. So just to give you a few ideas of what we've been seeing so far to set up this conversation. It's obviously been a very taxing year due to the pandemic, and what's happened in the UK market really, you kind of know that everything shifted online because the stores were closed, and then things opened up and closed and all that, and that just kept happening. But now we're in this really interesting situation where it's like you kind of think things should get better, but also people are very anxious about whether that's going to happen. So who's done well out of the pandemic? It's been depends what side of what fence you were on really, what category you were selling into. So if you're in something like home or electricals, beauty, selling online, absolutely phenomenal growth. But there are other categories such as formal clothing wear really struggled, and particularly formal footwear as well. But we're seeing some of that stuff balance out a little bit actually as we've moved through 2021. The other thing is that the multi-channel retailers are the ones that tended to do the best. So when the stores closed, people did switch their behaviour to the recognised brands that they knew on the high street. They just shifted to them. So really, it's a very interesting thing now about how this stuff balances out again. We know that online has gone up. It's almost definitely not going to come back down to where it was. But quite how that stuff balances out is a really big question that I think we're all very interested to find out the answer to. But because it's such a challenging kind of situation, what we're going to do is we're going to hear from Payal and David from PUMA, who's going to be talking about some of the challenges and successes involved in accelerating their customer engagement strategy. But to set that up, first of all, Payal, let me introduce you from Emarsys.
Thank you, Andy. And for those unfamiliar with Emarsys, we specialize in managing and automating cross-channel campaign management across digital, physical, and service channels for all direct-to-customer marketing use cases. And now Emarsys is part of the SAP Customer Experience family, and our market leadership in customer engagement is primarily because we get to partner with some of the most innovative brands like PUMA, who really understand that delivering relevant experiences starts by knowing who their customers are and understanding their behavior and actioning this insight.
Excellent. And David?
So thanks for having me. So yeah, I'm David. I'm the CRM Manager for PUMA Europe. So covering the full CRM strategy for our 27 countries that covers PUMA Europe. Been here for coming up to a year now, and based currently out of Germany, our head office in Germany.
Excellent. So Payal, let's find out how David's been achieving all this stuff then.
Thanks, Andy. David, thank you so much for being such a valuable client and a true partner for Emarsys here. What were some of the challenges you faced in the past to be able to engage with your customers?
So I think when I joined PUMA about a year ago, I think I kind of saw there's plenty of opportunities within the brand. You know, we've got really high brand loyalty, but I think one of the things that we saw is that we were talking to all of our customers in the same way. And we're a brand that has, you know, a wide variety of products on the site, everything from kind of football boots and shirts through to trainers, you know, appealing to that market, as well as fashion, running. So we really needed to understand what is the motive for our customers for coming onto the site, and how can we speak to them on their terms, and really get that kind of one-to-one conversation and relationship going.
And how have you overcome some of these challenges? Because a lot of the challenges that you speak about are very common in the market today.
Sure. So we kind of broke it down initially into three fundamental parts, which I think for me is the fundamental part of any CRM strategy. And that's making sure that we're talking to the right people with the right message at the right time. And we kind of broke down into those three areas. So as I said, when I joined, we were very much talking to everybody as one, and kind of mass sending to our database. And we worked very closely with Emarsys and using the tools and analysis and insights that we were getting from our customers to really identify what part of our customer base was the highly engaged part of our customer base, who was motivated, who was most likely to buy within the next 2 or 3 months. And that really allowed us to target those people and unlock that potential, as well as generating higher engagement and higher revenue. And at the same time, what it meant is that we could also identify that part of the database that wasn't necessarily interested in buying at the moment, and really pull back on sending to those people, maximum once every couple of weeks. So we weren't keep kind of pushing to people who weren't necessarily interested in buying right now. And so that was kind of the first part as to the who. And then the next part was the what are we saying to them? And we started to identify chunks of segments within our different product categories, but also working with Emarsys to define that logic that meant we could target customers dynamically with product recommendations based on what they previously browsed, what they previously purchased, and start to really develop that one-to-one customer relationship. We're at a point now, I'm really pleased to say that, if we send 500,000 emails, we're sending 500,000 different emails. Every single email is unique to that individual customer and what they want to buy and what they're interested in based on what we know about them. So that's been a massive, massive help for us. And then I think the third part of that is the when. And we've seen some great results using the send time optimization feature within Emarsys. And that's kind of seen our open rates increase sort of about 5 to 10%. And it means we can speak to everybody from the people buying on their commute to work through to the late night shoppers who are shopping in the middle of the night. And we can really target those customers at the time that they're interested in talking to us. And so these are the 3 streams that we've been working really hard on this year, and we've seen some really good results from that. We've been seeing triple-digit growth year on year from our email channel, and that's overall, and the revenue share from email as well has increased about 5 times over the past 12 months. So really, really pleased with the results we've seen so far, but definitely still a long way to go.
Those are amazing results, David. And as a CRM function and from CRM perspective, not really the function that's not prioritized, but rather the principles of it. And we've seen across the industry, actually, even more recently in the last 18 months or so, is not really the function, but the principles of how you engage with customers from a CRM perspective is not prioritized as much, or is not one of the highest priorities for a business. Why is it such a priority for you, and as well as for PUMA as a brand?
I think really all I can say is because the potential is so high, and we can see that, with the analysis and insights that we're getting. We know that PUMA is a brand with a really strong brand loyalty, and we see sort of 10 to 20% of our database is returning to the site on a regular basis. So the potential is huge, but we needed to break it down to look at who are we talking to and how can we talk to them in that one-to-one level, because otherwise it's just not going to work speaking to everybody in the same way.
And as Andy mentioned, the growth in online has been phenomenal for the category of business that you're in. And it doesn't mean to say that the growth in stores now that everything is opened up again, is going to go back to what it used to be. As a CRM function, how do you bridge that gap between online and physical stores?
Yeah, it's definitely something that's been our focus over the last few months, as you say, as hopefully things start to get back to normal. We're seeing a rise in terms of traffic coming through our bricks and mortar stores, and a significant portion of our email capture also comes through the in-store retail channel. And we've been really trying to kind of make sure that offline to online experience is seamless for them. So we're at a point now where we've developed completely separate welcome journeys, as an example, between our online and offline customers, so we can slowly introduce the online world to people who have come through the retail stores. And another thing is what we have store segments, so we can send kind of specific store communications to certain people, and everything's done dynamically, so it looks like it comes from your store. And we have all sorts of stuff in terms of in-store promotions, real-time directions to the store. So we're really trying to kind of bring that offline to online experience together. Still a long way to go, though. There's still a lot of stuff and a lot of potential there that we can do.
And your function is responsible for driving customer engagement across 27 markets in Europe. And when you really needed that speed and agility, how much resource did you have in terms of the people and the solution that you had? And what does your typical structure really look like to be able to scale the operations at the level that you needed them to when you really, really needed to be quick to market?
So we're actually a very small team, a very, very kind of dynamic team, sits within the wider digital marketing function. But you're right, we cover as a store, we cover 27 countries across Europe, and that covers 8 languages, multiple currencies. So the really key thing for us was that we worked together with Emarsys to be able to build our emails at scale. And we did a lot of that through the template work that's set up. So we know now that a lot of that stuff is automated. So our subject lines, our header and footer, our content will automatically go to the right language, as an example. Product that we pull in will automatically send to the right country page, will display the right currency for that customer, will display the content in the right language. So we know that all happens automatically, so we don't need to worry about it. We can then worry about what we're sending to the customer and deal more with the segmentation level at a customer level, because a lot of that apart from multinational happens just automatically in the back end. And that's been really great for us. It's allowed us to really scale up our program and be a lot more frequent with our sends than we otherwise would be able to with the resource available.
And the shift to online and this growth in online sales has also meant that customers are engaging in many more digital channels than they were before. And we don't actually see this trend slowing down. And email has been one of the core channels for them, and it's been such a great channel for you as well. Is there any other channel that you're seeing your customers engage with where you feel that you need to personalize?
We've seen some really good results through the web channel function on Emarsys. So we've used this really well as an email capture tool so any unidentified traffic through our website will be served a pop-up as they join the site, encouraging them to sign up to our email program. And we've seen some incredible results with that. We've gone from seeing about 1,000 new subscribers a week to about 10,000. By introducing this tool, and we've managed to increase the size of our database by about 50% in the last 6 months, which has been really great to see. We're currently in the process of starting to test other channels through our CRM program. I think it's definitely, I spoke at the start about the 3 pillars: the who, the what, and the when. I think there's actually a 4th one, which is the which channel that go through. We know that not everyone engages with email. That's not the best channel for everybody. So we definitely want to be testing more over the next 12 months to see which other channels work for us. And I think you're right, that multi-channel approach is definitely the way that CRM is going, and something that we're really looking at PUMA.
And by engaging with your customers in the way that you do, and with CRM being core to everything that you do, how has this resulted in delivering a measurable impact for your business?
So, like I say, from a revenue perspective, the growth rate's been really impressive. We've seen kind of triple-digit growth through the email channel. But what's been really great is that some of the softer metrics as well, we've seen an improvement. Our open rates, for example, on average now are around 25%. So really, really healthy, and we're seeing very low unsubscribe rates and similar very healthy click-through rates. And I think what we've seen and what we've shown is that when you are able to identify the customers who are engaged and you're able to talk to them on a one-to-one level, they will be interested, and the engagement rates and the health of our database is really, really strong. So that's been really great to see, just as those numbers have increased over the last few months.
David, thank you so much for all of those insights. I certainly learned a lot from you just by listening to you. Do you have any tips, advice, or expertise that you'd like to give others in the industry, or perhaps other CRM leaders in the industry?
I think from my side, I'd just say that, like I've said throughout, everything should be based on data. You need to get to a level. I think customers these days are expecting that brands that they interact with and brands that they're willing to accept communications from will know them on an individual level. and it's not enough now to kind of mass send to everybody, and it needs to be at that personalized level, and really getting down to a one-to-one communication. And that's doable through, you know, the insights and analysis that you can get through Emarsys. And I would just say, get to know your customers, build that relationship with them, and then the rest will follow. And we've definitely seen that, and it's definitely working really well for us. I'm really excited for what the next kind of 12 months is going to bring for our CRM program.
Thanks so much, David. Back to you, Andy.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for all that. I hope that you found that useful and took something from what David was talking about there. I think that the evidence kind of says it all, really. I think a 25% open rate is something that a lot of people watching this will be crying in that number. So it does seem that you know, getting that focus actually really can yield results. So you know, it can work. So thank you very much for that insight there. I hope you found that useful. And there's lots of other content in this in the Emarsys Retail Revival Digital Festival. So we definitely recommend that you go and look at some of that stuff as well. So thank you very much for joining us.